Hey, this is Meridith Elliott Powell, and you know what time it is. It is 8 a.m. Eastern, Saturday morning, time for Sales Logic. Hanging out here with my partner, Mark Hunter. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. We got a great topic today. We're going to talk about confidence in sales. I think that's kind of cool. It's good.
It's kind of an important subject. I'll go ahead and hit the intro, and we will get started. All right. Once again, it is Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, time for Sales Logic. Now, before we dive into the show, I always like to tell you how the show works because we start off with a question from you, the audience. We would love for you to be a part of Sales Logic. So if you have a question, something you want us to answer, just send it to Mark, send it to me, or go ahead to saleslogicpodcast.com. Check out the mastermind while you're there. We cover a hot topic. We recommend a book. And because we want you to leave with return on investment, we have a lightning round. So Mark, what is up for today?
Well, what's up for today? We're going to be talking about the impact of confidence in sales. And boy, you can't overlook it at all because it affects everything. And the question comes today from John in Fort Lauderdale. He says, I've got two new sales professionals, lots of talent and enthusiasm for the job and our products, but they lack confidence. Will that come? Should I, as a manager, be helping them build confidence? Or really, does it even matter if they know the product?
Good question. Did we put it into the Sales Logic brain today?
Of course, we put it into the Sales Logic brain. And I asked it several different things. In fact, one of the ways that I asked the question, this is what I love about Sales Logic brain, because you can phrase it differently, you get different answers. I said, hey, what would be some steps to follow? Came back with 11 steps: setting clear goals, prepare thoroughly, practice regularly, seek feedback, learn continuously, embrace rejection, celebrate small wins, maintain a positive attitude, visualize success. And the list goes on and on and on. Let me tell you something. Sales Logic brain is really smart. Wow.
Well, I think there's a lot of questions here, right? I mean, first of all, I think where we need to start is, does it matter? I think that's a really, really important question. And confidence, in my opinion, is everything in sales. People are really buying the energy and how you feel about your product. And if you don't believe in it, then, or you don't believe in your own ability to sell it, then you're gonna struggle in sales.
I think it's really actually more than that, because I think you really got to believe in the outcome of how you're going to help people. And I think confidence is a direct reflection of how you view people. And if you don't view the people you're helping as somebody who you can help and help make a difference in, your confidence is going to wane, because what's going to happen is their emotions, their presence is going to eat away at you. That, I don't know. It's just my feeling.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you mean their presence is going to eat away?
I mean, they can intimidate you. I mean, you're walking in to, say, a customer, or you're on the phone with a customer, and wow, they're big cheese. They're big, and you lack confidence. And well, guess what? Their presence, their size of their business, the size of the opportunity, just the way they come at you, can intimidate you incredibly. And then what happens is your confidence begins to wane. And when your confidence begins to wane, you don't listen as good. You don't hear. You literally just fall apart.
Yeah, and I think the thing about confidence is, when you lack confidence, you're too focused on yourself. You're worried that you're going to look stupid. You're worried that you're going to be come across and not be valuable. You're so focused on yourself.
Oh, that is so true, because you become so inwardly that you're not hearing the customer. And it's absolutely a shame, because so many sales are lost because the customer needs help. The customer needs what you have to offer, but because you can't hear, you're not paying attention. I'll share a very quick example. This happened a number of Years ago, my wife wanted to buy a new car, and there's only two things she cared about in a car. That is heated seats and a great sound system. That's it.
Okay.
That's all she cares about. And the salesperson she was dealing with was more concerned with, the torque, the size of the engine, the horsepower, all these other things. And he wasn't willing to listen to my wife.
Oh.
And I think, and my wife said, I think what happened was he just was caught off guard that he was having to sell to a female, and it just didn't resonate. So, I mean, confidence allows us to hear so much better. So, John in Fort Lauderdale, you've got to help your salespeople get confident.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly normal to not have confidence. I mean, I think that that's a natural place to be. We're getting some great comments in here. Roberta Moore, who's just brilliant. Nobody knows more about self-awareness and emotional intelligence than she does. And Roberta, I couldn't agree more. Self-regard, which is similar to confidence, it's a well-researched emotional intelligence skill, and it can be built. I wrote a book called The Confidence Plan, which we're going to feature in a little bit, and confidence absolutely can be built. Brings. Oh, go ahead.
No, go, please. I'm deferring to you, Meridith. Okay, we've got to, hey, here's the whole thing. I love what Bryn's saying, believe in the solution you sell. This is the whole thing. When you believe in the outcome, one of the things that I get a little hung up on is people get their confidence from the product they sell and the price they sell it at. And okay, that's important. I get it. But at the end of the day, if you know you can help the customer, doesn't that give you a warm feeling? Doesn't that help you feel good? So confidence, but here's the whole deal. I see so many salespeople. What happens is they get in the circle of other salespeople who don't believe in their products, who don't believe in their, and as a result, you become the sum of the 5 people you associate with the most. And this is why you've got to be careful who you hang out with. Because if you hang out with people who are not confident, you will become non-confident. I don't even know if that's a word. Non-confident too.
I love what Dave is saying here. Your potential clients are looking for the 3 C's from their sales professional. The first C is confidence, which is another way to say leadership through the buying process. I suffered most of my life from really a lack of confidence. I was really pretty insecure for probably the first 40 years of my life. And I think the root, and I'd be so interested to see what our audience says, is I felt the path for me to build confidence, because I feel very confident now. And as I work with people in helping them build confidence, is progress. Far too often we think it is about accomplishing a goal. And as I just started to give myself a break and started to think, well, I'm better off this year than I was last year. Maybe I'm not at the ideal weight I want to be. Right? Maybe I haven't reached the pinnacle of my career. Maybe I haven't done this or that, but I am making progress in that arena, and I am taking action in those areas.
That is so true. And you bring up a very interesting point, because so much our confidence is a result of our environment.
Yes.
And if we struggle or if we're a part of difficult environments, it's going to affect our confidence. This is why I say you cannot separate the professional from the personal side. How you feel personally is going to impact how you do professionally. How you do professionally is going to impact how you do personally. And so this is absolutely key. This is why you've got to be careful of who you hang out with. You've got to be careful. And this is why you've got to set your day up from the beginning to be a mindful, focused day, because you may not be able to change your environment, but you can change the moment you're in right now. I love Thomas's comment, lack of confidence and nervousness and insecurity. Are they the same thing? You know what? I think they are, because I think, when you're nervous and insecure, you're going to demonstrate a lack of confidence. And you eliminate those two and you become confident. I know I've gone through, boy, believe me, when I first began in sales, and like I've written in my book, I got fired from my first 2 sales jobs because I had one view of sales and it was wrong. It was wrong. And I couldn't buy into really what I was supposed to be doing. And it wasn't until I had a mindset change. This is why I say, the results we achieve in sales is first a result of the sale we make in our own mind.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Now, the question on the table was, how do I help my people and should I help my people? And you absolutely, I am a big believer that that we hold confidence for our teams before they have confidence in themselves. So I would say that the way that we help people build confidence, whether we're trying to do it for ourselves or whether we're trying to do it to help other people, is to set some goals. But the power in the confidence is going to come from setting the actions, the behaviors to accomplish the goals. And the reason is this, because goals are not something I control. I don't know when I'm going to do $1 million in sales. I don't know if that's going to happen in June. I don't know if that's going to happen in February of next year. But I can control the actions. And I always feel like the antidote of anxiety is action, right? Like if I'm sitting here and I haven't closed a sale this week, that's a horrible feeling. And we all have it. I don't know if you all are as schizophrenic as I am, but I run around the house going, oh my God, we're going to go broke. We're never going to eat again. I mean, I'm so sure my phone is never going to ring again. Nobody's ever going to email me and look for work. I mean, I go right off the cliff. But if I sit down and go, I can't control that, but I can control making sales calls. So get the people that work with you into action mode.
So much what you said there is so spot on. It's the activity. Do the activity. And this is the piece. John and any sales manager out there, you got people who lack confidence. You got to help them celebrate the wins, regardless of what the wins are. The wins may be absolutely tiny, absolutely small, but you've got to put them into a positive environment, because what I found is this. Success creates success. And the success might be, hey, I just had one phone call that went well. Great, terrific. Okay, fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, congratulations. And now let's set the next goal. Let's see if we can do it again. Let's see if we can do 2 goals. And you slowly but surely increase it. But you've got to create an environment where everybody is celebrating the success. Bryn's comment, when we detach from the commission and attach to the solution, it is so much easier to be confident when working with the prospect. It goes back to Larry Levine's comment of commission breath. Larry Levine, our good friend. I mean, it is. If you're only focused on the commission, and this was the problem I had initially in sales, I was only focused on the commission. That was it. Everything else was totally irrelevant. And as a result, it was really messing up my mind. Focus on the solution and how you're going to help people.
Yeah, you know what, Bryn, what this comment reminds me of is when I was a little kid, my mother used to say to me all the time, the fastest way to get past your own problems is to focus on somebody else's. And so from the time we were little, 6 years old, she used to make us do volunteer work in the community. And she would make us, work with people or children less fortunate than we were, because her feeling was if we could focus on what other people need, we would be less focused on what we need. And therefore, it would give us a richer life. She was so incredibly right. And this is what you're talking about. Mark says this all the time. Sales is really nothing more than helping people. And if you can get the team to focus there, like you're making a difference, they'll be more focused on helping, which will build their confidence then on the result. I got to tell you, I love Andy's comment. Wow, powerful. As a sales director, I never wished a salesperson good luck before a major call. I always said, get in there and take charge. That built confidence. What a beautiful way, because the person can't control whether that deal will close or when the deal will close. But if you say, get in there, take charge, go in there with everything you've got. Oh gosh, I wish I'd worked for you as a salesperson.
Andy, I love that comment. That's why I can't stand it when people say, oh, have a safe flight. Well, no, I was expecting to crash. We have to go into things with an absolute positive attitude. And this is where I say confidence changes the results you get. If you are confident going into a sales call, and regardless of how it is, whether it be online, Zoom, in person, whatever, you listen better. You hear things differently. You are going to be able to be in a position to help the customer better. If you go in lacking confidence, you're not going to hear what the customer's saying. And you are not going to walk out with the same results. This is why I say, your attitude going into the call determines the results you're going to get coming out of it. So I love Andy's comment, right? Get in there and take charge, because you can and you will. because what you're doing is you're visualizing success. Visualize success, and it's amazing at what can and will happen.
Yeah, I also think that Andy, actually, you're giving me a great idea for a show. Is we should really focus on what really strong and amazing sales managers do, because you're obviously incredibly great at what you do, but it is so rare out there. I love that you never said I'm proud of you, but how'd you do it? And I think that is so incredibly important, because there's when we go back to this idea of progress, is I think sometimes confidence gets shattered because we only have one definition of success. If I'm not at the top of the heap, I'm not successful. If I don't do this, then I'm not successful. But again, if you can help people see that every little step they did something right, they made some progress, it will build that confidence. It will definitely build that confidence in them.
And you know what? I love that, because don't let others define success for you. You are the only one that can define your success. And again, so many people become unconfident. They lose their confidence because they see somebody else and they go, oh, wow, look at how successful they are. Look at how brilliant they are. I could never achieve that. Totally irrelevant. Everybody is in their own situation. And this is where also that success is not a destination. Success is a journey. And if I can go through each day and I can just help one person, it's been a successful day. And if I help enough other people, guess what? I will be able to help myself. But confidence comes back to that fundamental belief that you can help other people. So back to our question, John, Fort Lauderdale. I have to ask yourself, are you confident? Are you confident that you can help other people? Because I believe confidence rubs off. I mean, Mary, you see this all the time with people who you're with, right? I mean, it's amazing how somebody comes into a room and they're confident, and it just somehow just seeps into other people. Same thing. Yeah. It goes in the opposite direction. So you got to be the one who puts confidence in other people around you.
Yeah. Bryn, I do. Thank you so much for that comment on my mother. I'm actually writing a little book on all the isms that I learned. My mother was a brilliant woman who had tons of those little pieces of advice, but it took me a long time to figure just how right she was. Here's the other thing, is that I think it's important, even if you define yourself as confident. Oh my gosh, I love, Natalie was going right where I was going. Even if you define yourself as confident, you still need to work on your own confidence. You still need to you can be more and more. And Todd made a really important comment: confidence without being arrogant. Todd, I believe, and I'd be curious if you believe this too, I think they're the antithesis. I think if you're arrogant, you're actually really, really insecure. This happened to me at an event about a week ago. I went in, and somebody that I have probably met 8 times acted like they'd never met me. And I don't know if you've ever had some, but you think to yourself, when I was young, that used to make me mad. And now I just feel sorry for them, because I think you should at least fake your way through, even if you can't remember me. And I think that's arrogance. A confident person, again, another mother thing, she always told me that it was my responsibility to make other people feel comfortable. And saying to somebody, I don't remember you, or I don't have any idea who you are, when we've clearly met 8 times, is arrogant. That's not confident. So I really think they're the antithesis. But where I was going with the whole comment, and sorry, Mark, I'll let you jump in, is practice is everything. I know the things that salespeople hate are role plays. I know they hate them. I don't love them. But they are some of the most powerful things you can do, because when you have practiced it a million times, you're selling from your heart, not from your head. And if you're still trying to do a script, you're not confident, and that insecurity comes across.
We see that in any sporting event, when people take the court, take the field, whatever, their level of confidence is a direct result of the practice they've put in. And if you haven't put in the practice, then you're going to find yourself on the court, on the field, whatever, in a situation that you're just not confident in. It's so interesting, but I'm going to ask people, how do you start your day? I mean, are you confident that you're going to be able to make an impact? You're going to make an impact on other people. That's why I say, hey, take a piece of paper, write down the people who you're going to reach out to today, and say, hey, this is how I'm going to help them. And when you start the day anticipating to help people, it is amazing how it changes your level of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mark, we are covering a lot. We should probably get on to the book and to the lightning round.
Hey, the book. I'm going to let you introduce the book because, gee, the author just happens to be Meridith Elliott Powell.
That's right. The book is The Confidence Plan. And it is a book that I wrote kind of as a throwaway book, a little ebook, and my publisher picked it up and said, "This is gold, and we should publish it." The Confidence Plan is literally to what Roberta was talking about at the top of the hour. It's how to build the skill of confidence. It's literally a step by step. And I wrote that book because years ago, I mean, I'm talking probably 15 years ago, I had a women's group come and ask me to speak to their organization. And they said, "Could you speak on how to build confidence? You're so confident." And that made me laugh because I thought, I'm not confident, but it's nice that I'm appearing to be. And so it was such a great ask because it forced me to sit down and ask myself two very important questions. Can confidence be built? Do I believe that? And my answer to that was yes. And then the second was, if you're going to build it, how do you build it? And I wrote a step-by-step plan on how to do that.
I love that because confidence can be built and it can be lost.
Mm-hmm.
It is without a doubt. And go back, we've had a number of comments regarding arrogance. And this is why I firmly believe that confidence taken too far becomes arrogance. I say, I'm going to be confident, but I'm always going to be humble that I'm never the best. And if I take that approach, it's amazing how I listen more. So that's great. Hey, love the idea. I didn't realize you had written that book. So now I got a book of yours to read. Anyway, hey, are you ready for the lightning round?
I am. I want to make one comment though about confidence and arrogance before we jump into that. Is that confidence taken too far? I think this is so important because I think a very vital piece. I've been thinking a lot about my ideal customer profile, and I just updated it. And I work with highly confident CEOs. Really, I'm looking for CEOs who have blown it out of the water and looking to take their business to the next level. But they never stop learning and they never stop listening. And I think, just in having that conversation, I think those are things that whenever I spoke with a person the other day that a client of mine had asked me to work with one of their team members. And I called the CEO back and I said, I can't work with him. And he said, why? I said, because he has no interest. He thinks he's got it. And if he thinks he's got it, I'm of no value to him. And so the moment that you don't think you can learn, and the moment that you judge the level of the individual you are learning from, meaning that you only believe you can learn from people above you, you've crossed the line into arrogance. So just with that comment.
I tell you what, I love that because I saw that play out over the last several months with the CEO who I was working with. And believe me, I know everything. I am the greatest. Ultimately, the board fired that CEO. Yeah. Another CEO who I was with this week, totally the opposite, an incredible amount of humility towards wanting to learn and sit in on meetings and understand. And what a dynamic leader, taking that company to a level that, believe me, you'll be hearing from that company in years to come. So anyway, hey, with that, okay, lightning round, top 10 strategies for building influence in the marketplace. But hey, want to encourage you to join us March 13th. Meridith and I are going to be doing the Sales Logic webinar. And I put the link in. I'll put the link in again.
I'm looking for it. There, you got it right here.
There it is. Great. And join us for that March 13th, because again, it's going to be mind blowing. Anyway, top 10 strategies for building influence in the marketplace. Go. You're on the clock.
Number one, to build influence, you've got to start by listening. You've got to understand what the challenges are in the marketplace.
Listen to everything that's being said out there in the marketplace.
Number two, I would say that work on connecting with other people. If you want to have influence, then you need to be connected and have relationships with others in the marketplace that are influencers.
Share insights with others. Share insights with others that will help lift them up. They in turn will begin to help lift you up.
Number four, I would say that work and put a lot of great content out there that solves the real problems that your customer or target market is looking to solve.
Have an air of humility about yourself. Never forget the fact that you are not the brightest person. In fact, if you're the brightest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You always want to be learning.
Number 6, I would say that if you want to create influence in the marketplace, help other people without an expectation of return. Find connections for them, find opportunities for them to build business or things like that.
Stretch yourself into areas that you maybe are not confident in and comfortable in, but it's amazing the relationships you'll create and the knowledge you'll learn.
Yeah, if you want to create influence in the marketplace, become the expert at the area in which you want to become influenced. Dedicate time every week to increasing your own skill set, your own knowledge, and your own information.
Make sure that you're always reading at least one book. I'll tell you what, people who influence are people who read. And if you're not reading 25 or 30 books a year, you are just not reading enough. Why don't you share one more? I'll share one more. We'll close it down.
Yeah, if you want to create influence in the marketplace, you need to be someone who is heavily networked and somebody that people have heard about. So work really hard to build your reputation, protect your brand, and create awareness about what you bring to the table and how you can help.
And I'll close it down by saying, never be the one who expects to receive the glory to share. Give praise and honor to everyone else around you. Lift up those around. Don't worry about yourself and you'll be just fine. Hey, with that, we want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. If something we've said has earned you a single dollar, hey, consider telling a friend about our show because it's how we grow when we help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
all of this uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right. We'll see you right back here next week. Remember, mark your calendars to join us March 13th for our webinar. You'll find the link in the show notes. Go to saleslogicpodcast.com. Find out more about March 13th. Sign up for our mastermind and send your questions on because we'll feature you right here on Sales Logic. All right. We'll see you next week.